Find the idea. Na6 plus works only if one defender is overloaded. What would you play? Now rewind. Pete Pilen has white against Judith Polgar in Hoogovens-B. The point is not to memorize moves. In this episode, track the quiet mystery. The natural answer, the piece with too many jobs, and the square that proves the tactic was prepared. If a move does not change one of those things, we move quickly. If it does, we stop and turn it into a question you can use at the board. First quiet clue. This move earns its screen time by changing the open file before the forcing line appears. This is the first real clue. Now 3. CXD4 is the next pressure test after 2. And C6. Second exchange, not just points. One guard leaves, and the bishop route around move 3 becomes easier to see. The previous checkpoint, 2. And C6. Changed the defender map before 3. CXD4. 3. CXD4 sets up the next question at 4. NXD4. Pause here, what changed after 3? CXD4? Third trade with a price tag. If the defender recaptures or ignores it, ask where the king can still breathe. The board is already drifting from 4. NXD4 toward 13. QXD7 plus. Fourth king safety audit. If the reply damages the loose defender, the next tactic gets easier. Look back one checkpoint. 4. NXD4 made the position fragile enough for 13. QXD7 plus. This is the bridge to 14. RFD1 plus, where the defender has fewer choices. Fifth initiative in plain sight. The motive detail matters because the forced reply still needs an answer. That is why 16. RXD1 plus is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 14. RFD1 plus. Sixth collapse warning. The check forces a reply while the pawn shield stays weak. A quiet detail from 14. RFD1 plus is still hanging in the air when 16. RXD1 plus arrives. Seventh timing question. If the defender spends this move on survival, which square became a highway? 18. BF4 plus sets up the next question at 24. Na3 plus. Eighth check with a purpose. The king answers first, so the trade choice can decide the next move. After Na3 plus, can the king and defender both stay useful? The board is already drifting from 24. Na3 plus toward 25. NXD1 plus. Ninth forcing checkpoint. Counterplay pauses while we inspect the entry point. Which defender cannot cover both threats? The previous checkpoint, 24. Na3 plus. Changed the defender map before 25. NXD1 plus. This is the bridge to 26. BXD1, where the defender has fewer choices. 10th exchange, not just points. One guard leaves, and the rank switch around move 26 becomes easier to see. 26. BXD1 does not appear from nowhere. 25. NXD1 plus already shifted the pressure. That is why 26. FXG3 plus is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 26. BXD1. 11th king safety audit. If the reply damages the minor piece net, the next tactic gets easier. Look back one checkpoint. 26. BXD1 made the position fragile enough for 26. FXG3 plus. Now 27. H5 is the next pressure test after 26. FXG3 plus. Pause here. What changed after 26? FXG3 plus? This is how initiative grows before the punchline. The move does not win immediately, but it changes the final corridor. 27. H5 sets up the next question at 28. NB6 plus. 13th collapse warning. The check forces a reply while the open file stays weak. A quiet detail from 27. H5 is still hanging in the air when 28. NB6 plus arrives. The threat is still partly hidden. That is why this move is dangerous. It improves the dark square cover before the tactic announces itself. This is the bridge to 31. RH2 plus, where the defender has fewer choices. 15th check with a purpose. The king answers first, so the back rank room can decide the next move. Rh2 plus spends a tempo for the king. Where does counterplay go? That is y34. Nf4 is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 31, Rh2 plus, 16th pressure move. It makes a later tactic believable by improving the overload or limiting a reply. The previous checkpoint, 31, Rh2 plus, changed the defender map before 34, Nf4. Now 34, Rh2 plus is the next pressure test after 34, Nf4. Pause here. What changed after 34, Nf4? 17th tempo hit. A quiet defense would be nice, but this check makes the tempo race urgent. Which defender cannot use its ideal square after Rh2 plus? 34. Rh2 plus sets up the next question at 35, Rxb2. 18th exchange, not just points. One guard leaves, and the shelter crack around move 35 becomes easier to see. Look back one checkpoint, 34. Rh2 plus made the position fragile enough for 35, Rxb2. The board is already drifting from 35, Rxb2 toward 36, Na6 plus. 19th initiative in plain sight. The clue detail matters because the piece route still needs an answer. This is the bridge to 41, Kxf6, where the defender has fewer choices. Pause here. What changed after 36? Na6 plus? 20th visible prize, hidden access. After 41, Kxf6, the trade choice is easier to use. A quiet detail from 36. Na6 plus is still hanging in the air when 41, Kxf6 arrives. The lesson from Polgar queen move wins instantly is concrete. The final tactic works because the earlier moves changed the defender map. In the My Chess Coach lesson, replay the quiet mystery positions, solve the puzzles, and name the clue before the payoff. The candidate move, the overloaded piece, or the square that changed. Then run the same checklist in your own game before you grab material or defend automatically. That turns this finish into a pattern you can recognize in real positions, not just a highlight you admire once.